Well, I wanted to share something I just got in the mail. If you've seen my blog at all, you might realize that I've been trying to rethink or recast how I do my reading. Last year I read a lot of books. In fact, I basically was keeping track from April to October, and I think in that time I've read, oh, I forget, 50, 60 books, something like that. And so for the whole year, I'm not sure how many books I read, but if I would have kept on that same pace, it would have been around 100. But I started wondering if I was really learning or gaining much from my reading. I was reading all the words, I was going through the books, I could kind of tell you what the book was about, but I was really wanting some deeper learning. And so I started on this trek of how to read a book earlier this year. Well, I thought long and hard about doing what I did, but I ended up deciding to jump into the Michael Hyatt Leaderbox. Now it's basically they send you 2 books a month, and you read through them, and they give you some sort of reading guide and stuff. I have not opened this. This is my first box. I know it looks like maybe I have, but that's the way it came to me. So the box has not been opened. I thought I would go ahead and open it and share a little bit about why I decided to spend the money, which is not cheap, to join this book program. All right, and so here it is. I've seen someone else do an unboxing. They talk about how great the quality is, and yes, it looks really, really nice. And it tells you right there, it's a curated reading experience designed by leaders for leaders. Michael Hyatt used to be the CEO of Thomas Nelson, and so he knows books. I have a couple more things to say about that. And so in the box, I guess that's just a card with Dear Leaderbox Reader. Tells you a little bit. I'm also invited to a live coaching session to discuss the critical leadership topic of reputation. That's one of their focuses for the month of March, I guess. Here is the success path. And so far I'm doing well, because the first step is to unpack the box. So I'm doing that right now. Apparently there's a 21-day reading guide, but I do pretty well. A lot of recyclable stuff here. And then here is the book. I don't know what book it is. They don't tell you what it is, but they have it all nice and taped up. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to have to do this all in one take, or else it's going to be very obvious that I've opened this before, because I'm not being too careful. And the book is The CEO Next Door. So the 4 behaviors, let me see, 4 behaviors that transform ordinary people into world-class leaders. And this is not a book I have read. Now, that is one of the reasons why I decided to go with Michael Hyatt's Leaderbox. There are other similar programs out there, but I really felt like this one looked a little bit more challenging than some of the other ones. And one of the reviewers said that they taught master degree business program, MBA program, and he said the books were comparable to what he would get for his student or his students. So that's really one of the reasons. Also, somewhere in here, there's supposed to be a reading guide with some notes and various things to help in your reading. I did not. Oh, here it is. It's in with the book, so I'll switch my camera again. Yeah, so the activation guide. And it's well done. It gives you executive summary. It gives you a reading guide. I guess there's some place to take notes. That's kind of nice. Critical questions for each day that you're reading through it. after I ended that last video, I try to keep these videos short because I know what it's like, trying to sit through a 15-20 minute video. I try to keep them short, but as I was finishing that up, I realized I didn't go through everything that was in the box, and some folks, you might care about that. So along with the book and along with the activation reading guide, along with, let me switch my camera here. It'll just make it a little bit easier. Along with the introduction, there's also, let me see, I think I've gone through all this. There's also these quote cards. These are things, I guess, I believe there was it said somewhere, use the quote cards to keep new learnings at the top of your mind. And so these are meant to kind of, I guess, keep around, and they have different quotes, I'm assuming, from the book. Yeah, it looks like it's all from the book. And so that's one extra thing. And there's also a private Facebook group that's part of the package where you can go in and have a conversation and talk. And I'm assuming there might actually be a live Facebook video maybe once a month as well. And like I said, I looked at a couple of the other reading programs just briefly, but it looked like the books that Michael Hyatt and his team chose had a little bit more meat to it. And that's really what I was looking for. I wasn't looking for, some of the books I have on my shelf. Leadership Challenge. I've got some good things on there. I've seen The Fifth Discipline, which I have not read yet. Ready for Anything. David Allen. Some others. Let me see. The Power of Habit. Great book. But I'm not sure I really need a reading guide to help me through that. And I'm not suggesting you get this. I'm just sharing this is why I ended up taking the leap. I think it will be good to kind of have some stuff curated. It might mean that I will end up reading some stuff that I wouldn't normally read. I may actually be challenged in my thinking, which I think is always good. And usually there's two books. I should probably say usually there's two books. This month they had a different thing because one of the books they're trying to get is from the UK. And so they're shipping out another box mid-month, which usually isn't the case, as I understand. So that's my short review, and your mileage may vary, but I decided to take the plunge because I really want to be challenged in my thinking. And from what I can tell, this looks like a pretty good way for that to happen. Well, that's all that I have for now. Enjoy your day, and may you truly sense God's blessings in your life.